Shalom, shalom, it's the brother Kadash. I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to all the brothers in this truth. Your idols become your rivals. And for a long time, that's a famous saying, your idols become your rivals. It's very important. Usually, everything is smoke and mirrors. When you get to a certain position, you see that, look, a lot of things ain't real, as real as you thought it was, and for a long time, what you see on your screen, money used to be a big idol of ours, in some type of way we used to go out with in order to get money. But now, with everything that's happening in the world, in Esau's kingdom, we're starting to see that really all of this is all fake. It's nothing's real, because the lifestyle that you wanted to live at a certain point in time was really considered the American dream. And it really was considered the way of Esau, the way that Esau was running things and the way that Esau was living. We all wanted at some point in time a house in either Miami, a mansion in Miami, or a mansion in LA. We all wanted the top cars. We all wanted to be famous and be able to have the access to some of these women that you will see, some of these actors like Angelina Jolie or something like that. We all wanted these things, and we always thought that the way that we was going to be able to get these things was by getting this money. But now that the dollar is about to collapse and it's getting weaker and weaker, as you see the prices of things going up, for example, gas and food at the stores, we're starting to see that this whole thing was all fake. And really, we waiting for the death of the dollar. We waiting for the collapse, because that's going to get us to the end. So I know for a lot of men, our idol was money, and your idols become rivals when you wake up to this truth. So let's get some scriptures on it. This is Proverbs chapter 15. This is verse 3. It says, the eyes, wait, Salaki. It says, the eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil, right, in the good. But let me jump down to, it says, verse 6, in the house of the righteous is much treasure. So, even though at a point of time we thought our treasure was, getting money, this is important. Hopefully this could be edifying, but money was always, that's a big thing. A lot of brothers don't speak on the hold that money had on a lot of brothers. Money was a big thing. A lot of men that went to prison because of money problems, or trying to, kind of in a microwave way, reach their goals in a very fast way to make that money. A lot of people idols as far as athletes and entertainers, rappers, actors, and stuff like that. They really idol these people because these people were able to get to a place where they were able to get money. So it really does trace us back to money, and this is why they say money is the root of all evil. But we say it's sin. And it says, the house of the righteous is much treasure. So just being righteous, it's much treasure there because we have the promise of the kingdom. All this wealth and stuff like that, we gonna get it already in the kingdom. Like just a minute ago, I was just watching a little just like a little something that came on YouTube. It's like a concert of The Weeknd, and in the crowd he had a woman that was going crazy, and I was looking at it like, sometimes they showed a little snippet of the woman in the crowd kind of bugging out while he's singing, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, he could just snap his fingers and point and say, you come. And it was some beautiful woman too, and they had come just at a drop of the dime like that. And then it had me thinking though, and I was like, dang, imagine King Solomon, which was Yahweh Shai, said he had thousands of wives. So we know he popped at least thousands of times, 1,000 times, because he had 1,000 wives combined with concubines. So you got to think about it. Some of these women he dealing with long term, going back and forth. This man would have been popping, if you got ears to hear, a lot. But they say he started when he was a young man too. But he had all that power, to do that. And we're gonna get that power in the kingdom, man. Best believe it. And these women gonna have to get in order. But we got much treasure set up for us. Yahweh Shari did the work for us. That's why we can't even understand. And when I was watching that concert, I was like, man, I can't even understand having that type of power that he got. You got thousands, 50,000, 60,000 people at Coachella screaming his lyrics, and women all out there that, you see what I'm saying? So it was a real, it was like a real thing, that I was looking at. But then it got me into the spirit to make this video. It says, but in the renews of the wicked is trouble. So sometime right now it seems like the wicked is the ones that making money, because all the wicked, the rappers and stuff that really ain't worried about this truth, they the ones with the big Cuban links with diamonds. They the ones with the AP skeletons, the Pagette diamonds, the Ferraris, the Lambos, all this stuff take money. The houses in Atlanta, LA, Houston, they the ones that got all this, and all this stuff takes money in order to afford it. But don't envy that. Don't envy a sinner, because we got that coming to us. That's why it says here, let me pull. All we got to do is stay to work. We got great tribulation that we have to go through, but there is light at the end of the tunnel for the elect. And that's why it says in Revelations 2:9, I know thy works and thy tribulations and poverty right now, but thou art rich. I know the blasphemy of them that say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Because speaking of them, they really got all the money, but they claim to be us. But it says, but thou art rich. So we gonna get real money, in the kingdom. And ours, the difference with ours gonna last forever. Like Rick Ross say, like, rich forever. We actually gonna be that, But the thing is that time's gonna come. But that's the patience of the saint. You have to be patient, and wait for it, So all that stuff is gonna be translated over to us. Matter of fact, I think it speaks about that in Zechariah. Let's stay right here, and let's get Exodus 20. But we gotta be happy, America's going into more debt, national debt. And at the same time, we see that we basically on a collapse. Some people saying in 4 months that we could see a collapse of the dollar, right? So this is Exodus chapter 20. So death to the dollar, right? Exodus chapter 20 verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. So this was in our law, to not make a graven image, which goes into idol worshiping too. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I am the Lord thy God. I am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, into the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. And us going into reincarnation. But the Lord said he's a jealous God. So we start worshiping this money. A lot of us did, at some point in time. All of us had to get jobs at some point in time. And we put 10, 12 hours a day into our jobs. And we was putting more into our jobs than to the Lord at some certain time. And probably still now, And the thing about it is that when you worshiping the money, you worshiping the image that's on the money. Whose image is on the money? Esau, That's why Esau's going to translate this whole thing into a digital currency. But now he's going to get you to take the mark of the beast, which is the micro implant chip, And idols became our rivals when we woke up to this truth, This is Here, let me jump. Let me get just more on that, just to reiterate that just a little bit more. This is Leviticus chapter 26, right? What verse? I think verse 1. It says, ye shall make no idols nor graven images, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall ye set up any image of stone in your land, or bow down into it, for I am the Lord your God. So this is very important, you know. This has always been very important. So that's what, and that's pretty clear in the law, you know. Two accounts in the law saying, look, pretty much no idols, you know. So our idols, we threw away all our idols when we got into this truth, and really they became our rivals, you know. Keep saying it. Let's jump right here. This is Psalms chapter 135. Psalms chapter 135. Let me see what verse 15 says, the idols of the heathen are silver and gold, the works of man's hands. So the idols of the heathen are silver and gold. So that leads me into the money, this whole money thing. Let's see, and this is how the Bible works, you know. It all comes together. If you jump to First Corinthians, if I could get to it, come on, man, right here. First Corinthians chapter 12, just to bring it all together, right? Verse 2, it says, ye know that ye were Gentiles carried away into these dumb idols, even as ye were led. So we were led by the other nations, and we was carried away into following their dumb idols. So back in Psalms 135 verse 15, it says the idols of the heathen that we were following, right, that made us Gentiles, are silver and gold in the works of man's hands, you know, different things like that. But even going into the silver and gold, which we know is a form of money, and now it went to the fiat currency, which is what you see on your screen, you know. And that leads me into, that's not going to save you. So your idols have to become your rival, especially when we're talking about this money situation, because guess what? It don't matter how much you got. It don't matter how much your favorite actor, your favorite rapper, your entertainer, athlete got. That's not going to be able to save them. And it's all throughout the Bible. You have to believe that. This is Isaiah chapter 13. It says, verse 15, everyone that is found shall be thrusted through. Everyone that is joined into them shall fall by the sword. And that's right. And you could be joined into them by the way of the American dream, by the way of their money. That could be another temptation, you know, to keep you joined into them. You know, you don't really want to condemn, and you really don't want to get into this truth because you're still chasing their money. You know, as long as you're chasing their money, you chasing after them. You know, verse 16, their children also shall be dashed into pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled and their wives ravished. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Meaning that, look, that's not going to save you. It's clear as day they not going to regard silver or delight in the gold. Here, this is Zephaniah chapter 1, get straight to the point, verse 18, right? It says, verse 18, it says, neither their silver nor their gold should be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land should be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. So your silver and your gold, your fiat money, anything that's used as money, it's not going to be able to save you. You're not going to be able to pay your way into the kingdom. You know, you're not going to be able to use these different idols to call up on to save you out of trouble. It's going to be hell on earth. It's going to be trouble. That great day of the Lord is near. It's near, you know. This is Zechariah, what's that, 14? Because we gonna get it all anyways. So we might as well just forget it on this side, man. Because you know we got to look forward towards the kingdom. You know that's what we got to look at. We gonna have all those things on the kingdom. You know I call myself going places. You know we see things, and that's what I just say to keep me in check is you know what we gonna have that in the kingdom. You know what, this ain't the time. This is a time for mourning. This is a time for repenting. You know, this is a time for having that heavy spirit on you, like Yahushua did right after the Passover before the crucifixion. That's the spirit that we supposed to be in. This ain't the time for partying, for you know, brothers take wives, but this really ain't even the time for all that, man. That's why Paul gave us the perfect example, saying, "Look, it'd be better." Pretty much, me paraphrasing my own words is, "It'd be better if you don't marry, you know. But if you have to, you know." And then the thing is because the times we in, and it's finna get worse, and it's finna get even more horrible out here. You know, we have to go through that and endure to the end. Matthew chapter 24, but this is Zechariah chapter 14, verse 14. It says, "And Judah shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen, since they make this wealth and they idolize it so bad, right? The wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver, see, and apparel in great abundance. And so shall be the plagues of the horse and the mule and the camel and of the ass and all the beasts that shall be in these tents as the plagues," right? And it should come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King of the Lord of hosts, to keep the feast of the tabernacles. So all that's going to be gathered up anyways, and it's going to be brung to us and give to us. Because if you jump to Revelations, here, let's go to Revelation. Let's stop at Revelation verse 9 real quick. Now, matter of fact, let's go ahead. If you jump to Revelations chapter 21, it tells you that our gates are going to be left open. Continue. I mean, just it's. I'm missing the word, but our gates are going to be left open for the nations to bring. It says Revelations 21, verse 25, and the gates of it should not be shut at all by day, for there should be no night there. And they should bring the glory and the honor, which is what? Their riches, their gold, their silver, of the nations into it. See? It's another account of that if I'm going to jump back. Matter of fact, since the Spirit's on me, I believe it may be Isaiah chapter 60. This is Isaiah chapter 60. Let me find where it's at. Verse 11. Yeah, continually. That's the word I was looking for. Verse 11. "Therefore thy gates should be open continually." For what? It just told you in Revelations 21. "They should not be shut day nor night, that man may bring into thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought." You know, so the actual Gentiles, if you can't believe that they're going to be saved with us, when it's clearly breaking down that, look, they're going to be subjective to us. Verse 12, "For the nation and the kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish, yea, those nations shall utterly be wasted." So I mean, that's pretty much explains it, breaks it down perfectly right there. Let's end it with this though. Hopefully this has been edifying. It's late at night and I'm putting in this work to do this. You know, the Spirit got on me. This is Revelations chapter 9, right? Verse 20. Verse 19. "For their power is in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt." So the power is in their mouth and in their tails. Talking about, I believe this is talking about the those. This is talking about ancient. Here, let me break this down real quick. Let me break this down real quick. Okay, sometimes you got to just read through it, proofread, especially when you get into Revelations. So you want to make sure that you know exactly what you're talking about. So when the war was passed, I just heard the elder break this down. Breastplates of iron, and the sounds of their wings was like the sounds of chariots and many horses running. So I believe this is talking about World War One. and it was talking about the different like the fighter jets that they had during that time with World War One, and the hurt that they could do, shooting with the guns out of them out the fire jets during World War One. And but verse 20 was my point. It says, "And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols and gold and silver and brass and stone and of the wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk." And that's the point right there that I was getting to, is that look, that's a bad thing to do, Neither repented they of their murderers, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts. And actually, and this is what Revelations do. It jumps around. Verse 19 is talking about those nuclear weapons during this end time. But in the beginning of Revelations chapter 9, it's talking about that war. Because right here it says, woe is past, verse 12 in Revelation 9. We might as well break it down since we got into it. One woe is past, and behold, there come two more after. So when it's talking about, and they had breastplates of iron, the wings, it's talking about that first war. But then when you get to the end of it, when you get to verse 16, it says, "And the number of the army and of the horsemen were 200,000 and I heard the number of them." So that's talking about those nukes. It's going to be a 200,000. So you do the math. "And thus I saw the horses in a vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire of gents and brimstone, and the head of the horses were as the heads of lions, right? And out of their mouth issue fire and smoke and brimstone. By these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire and the smoke and by the brimstone which issue out their mouths. For the power is in their mouth and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt, because the tails, sorry, the tails, you got the delivery system, and then with the heads, you got the nuclear, dang, what's the word they call it, the dang, I'm missing the word, but you got the delivery system that gets the warhead. That's what they call it, exactly, a warhead that gets the warhead to its target, and with them they do hurt. But the point is that's how eventually all their idols is going to be burnt up here in Mystery Babylon by the way of those nuclear weapons. So with that, is idols have become our rivals, and with that, I'm gonna say salvation to the elect. Shalom.